Sanjay Gupta was absolutely floored at the current state of COVID-19 in the U.S. and the way that we're reacting. So I'll play this video here for you. He's flabbergasted. Look at how taken aback he is. This is really stunning to watch, especially since, he's a doctor, he's an expert, and he can't believe what he's witnessing.
Now, Arizona has got real problems. I mean, Arizona's positivity rate is higher than 20%. They're seeing hospitalizations increase. They're running out of ICU beds. And I don't know if we have the picture we can pull up. The president, what did he do? He went to Phoenix. I mean, he went to one of the hot spots, if not the biggest hot spot in the country right now in the coronavirus outbreak, and he gave a speech in a crowded room. There's no space between these people there, most of whom, according to our reporters in the room, were not wearing masks. Now, they were young people. Is that going to protect them from spreading the virus? What's going to happen from this event?
I don't even know what to say anymore about this sort of stuff. I mean, this is, to me, it's like a bunch of people being outside in the middle of a hurricane, right? I mean, you can't see this virus. You don't feel it. You may incubate in your body for 14 days, but it makes it no less of a storm. We're being really, really silly. We're being ridiculous at this point with these types of things. That's the worst case scenario. I mean, having a large indoor event, unmasked, people not physically distancing in the midst of a pandemic with a very, very contagious virus out there. The virus hasn't changed. We know the virus is contagious. It defies logic. History books will be written about things like this, and those will not be fun history books to read. I mean, it's going to be, we're not going to be judged very favorably.
This is a point that I made the other day on Kyle and Corin, and I'm perpetually amazed by it day by day. It really happened that for a couple months, we locked everything down and everybody recognized, the fight we had on our hands. And then at a certain point, it really appears like all of society went, we're done with this. And everything just they tried to go back to normal. Well, guess what? We just got this news here. 36,358 new cases in one day. A new record. So we just had the single day record for coronavirus cases. The single day record for coronavirus cases. We just had it. We're talking about the states are slowly opening up in different phases now, and we just hit the single day record. Florida is getting hammered. Texas is getting hammered. Arizona is getting hammered. Apparently, in those places, you go, you walk around and you realize nobody's wearing a mask and nobody's social distancing. Now, in the case of Trump, okay, he started his Tulsa rally. He did his Tulsa rally. That was literally a day after the record number of COVID cases hit Oklahoma. He did his rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then now he did it in Phoenix, Arizona. Again, a hotbed of it. I don't know if it's Phoenix, but it's in Arizona. It's a hotbed of COVID. Hotbed. And nobody's social distancing. Nobody's wearing masks. And he's just giving this speech in this indoor enclosed area. The worst possible thing you could do in a pandemic is be in a poorly ventilated indoor area with a lot of people. The worst thing you could do. That's the worst thing you could do. And Sanjay Gupta is absolutely, he can't wrap his mind around what we're witnessing right now. Because guess what? The numbers are going to keep going up and up and up and up. And we really got to a point where we were like, we're done. We're not doing it anymore. And by the way, the answers are a lot more simple than we previously thought. I was reading about this last night because I'm just as floored as Sanjay Gupta is. And get this. So Japan, you know what they did? And I don't know if it was cultural or if it was a law, but basically everybody wears a mask. Everybody. And that might not be an exaggeration. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 people. They didn't shut down. And you know how many coronavirus deaths they have? Under 1,000. They didn't shut down, and the only thing they do is everybody wears a mask, and there's, some reasonable level of social distancing. People try to stay away as much as possible. That's it. Meanwhile, in this country, we shut things down. We didn't help people sufficiently. You know, the mask thing is huge because, again, Texas, Florida, Arizona, and many places around this country, people are just like, there's now masks are political. And the right, many on the right, I don't want to smear all conservatives, because there's plenty, I'm sure, that are reasonable in wearing masks, but many on the right have now taken this position that, like, it's tyrannical to wear a mask, or it somehow makes you weak, or whatever it may be. Okay, well, guys, we have over 120,000 deaths from this virus. We have over 2 million Americans who have had this virus, and this is the official numbers. The real numbers are way higher. That's 2 Vietnams in terms of deaths so far, and now we just hit a single-day record, and it's going to keep going up. You know what's happening in my state? New York was hardest hit. We did not do a good job with this, especially because we're all on top of each other in New York City, and it's just perfect conditions for a petri dish for the virus to spread. But you know what we've done since we were hardest hit? The only difference that I see for sure is that everywhere I go, where you're going inside, you go to the grocery store, you go to any enclosed area, everybody's wearing a mask. You don't see a single person without a mask. And you know what happened to our numbers? They plummeted. They went straight down. Because at a certain point, everybody realized how serious it is, and then everybody wore a mask. I mean, that's the answer. And even that we can't do. Even that we didn't do. And now we're experiencing an incredible resurgence of it. And listen, man, you have to say, I mean, all those press conferences Trump did day in, day out, talking to people about the virus, and we're doing this, and we're doing that, and we're doing this. Now they're even going to stop the free testing as cases explode and hit a new record. And he's out there doing rallies, and people aren't socially distancing. Nobody's wearing a mask. It's like we live in the Twilight Zone, man. He's in serious, serious trouble. Because as I've said a million times, you could talk about statues as much as you want. You could talk about the culture war and the fake news media and Sleepy Joes, just like Antifa. That's what's going on. You can talk about all that all you want. When you have a pandemic that is spreading even further and you've basically given up even trying to fight back against it, and when you have an economic depression, what do you think is going to happen? Even the most skilled, savvy politician ever cannot overcome that political reality. A pandemic that's getting worse and worse, and you basically gave up fighting, and an economic depression. How are you going to override that? You can't. So, and this is devastating. I don't know, like the number of people that we're losing from COVID, it's like a war. We're in a war right now. And they don't care anymore. They just gave up. And everybody seemingly gave up. So I'll tell you guys, I'll warn you guys. If you're going to the grocery store, if you're going to work and, you're around other people inside, you got to wear a mask. You got to do it. If you're outside and you're socially distancing, you don't have to. But in all other circumstances, wear a mask. You got to wear a mask, man. It's just going to get worse and worse. The heat helps stop the spread of the regular flu. But it's not stopping with the coronavirus. The cases are getting worse and worse. So you got to take precautions, because guess what? The government ain't there to help you. They're not doing Dickie McGee's acts now. And now the plan is just ignore it. Just ignore it. I feel exactly like Sanjay Gupta does in this clip. He's like, I don't even know what to say. I've never seen anything like this. And every other country, if you look at the chart, every other country is just kicking our ass. It's unbelievable. Like, every other country was somewhat reasonable in their response. I mean, there were variations and there's a spectrum, but, like, you see that the U.S. just couldn't. Society has fallen apart. We can't even do basic, reasonable things. And it is unique to this country. I hate to tell you, maybe us and Brazil are the only two that can't do very simple things to fight back against the virus. Every other country got it under control to one extent or another. Us, we couldn't even do basic things. It really is stunning when you look at that chart and notice that we stand alone in the world in how terrible we're responding to this. So there you go. There's your American exceptionalism.